Here again is my brief summary of the world news headlines found on the Reuters news agency's website, this time for Friday, October the 26th, 2018. As always, I declare that I do not intend to infringe on any copyrights. The Turkish president, Mr. Recep Tayyip Erdogan, calls on Saudis to say who ordered the dissident journalist Jamal Khashoggi's killing in the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, Turkey, on October the 2nd, 2018. China and Japan to forge close ties at historic turning point. Myanmar or Burma court frees journalists on bail in incitement case. Israeli forces kill 4 Palestinians in Gaza border protest, according to the medics. The U.S. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis will stress the United States' commitment to Middle East security at the weekend, or this weekend, officials said, amid Western concern that any loosening of U.S. ties to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, after Mr. Jamal Khashoggi's murder could allow Russia to fill the vacuum. Turkey's Erdogan issues final warning on Syria. What are confidentiality agreements at the heart of Britain's Me Too debate? Indian police arrest over 2,000 people after Hill Temple protests. Clocks stopped. Europe hesitates before last time change. Greek police say package at foreign ministry found to be harmless. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu makes rare visit to Oman. Polish ruling party wants deal on more US troops before the 2019 national parliamentary elections. United Nations condemns human rights abuses in expulsion of Congolese from Angola. Brussels airport flights cancelled as baggage handlers strike. No More Cesspool Philippines welcomes tourists to a famous holiday resort island, Boracay, after makeover. Russia's Federal Security Service detained 6 members of an Islamic State cell plotting attacks in Moscow, while the right-wing populist and anti-establishment Brazilian presidential candidate Mr. Jair Bolsonaro is still favored to win the second and decisive round of the country's presidential elections this Sunday on October the 28th. His lead is narrowing according to the latest opinion polls. His opponent is a left-wing presidential candidate. The Chinese President Xi is to seriously consider the Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's invitation to visit, according to a Japan spokesman. United Nations-led aid convoy to Syria's Rukban camp will be postponed, according to a United Nations official. European Commission President and former Luxembourgian Prime Minister, Mr. Jean-Claude Juncker, says North Africa migrant camps are not on the European Union's agenda. The slain Saudi dissident journalist Mr. Jamal Khashoggi's Turkish fiancé says he assumed Saudis would not give him problems at the consulate. The embattled French President Mr. Emmanuel Macron slams calls to halt arms sales to Saudi as populist. Blast at firecracker factory in North India kills 8, according to police. The embattled German Federal Chancellor Prime Minister Mrs. Angela Merkel says that there will be no arms sold to Saudi Arabia until the Khashoggi killing is explained. Turkey's foreign minister spoke with US counterpart, according to a Turkish source. Federal Chancellor Merkel says Europe wants orderly Brexit solution, not debating other options. China's Xi says that Japan relations are back on right track, according to state media. Former Trump White House advisor and conservative firebrand Steve Bannon said on Friday he was endorsing Brazil's right-wing populist presidential candidate, Mr. Jair Bolsonaro, hoping he could win Sunday's vote and contribute to a global populist tide. In Brazil's most polarizing election in decades, women have long held the decisive swing vote, with a quarter of the female electorate up for grabs just a month ago, twice the undecided rate among the Brazilian men. Italians face disruption as transport workers go on strike.